guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you guys how I made this Raglan sweater, which features some overly wide extra large sleeves. For this Raglan, I'm going to be using 3 different colors of yarn. I'm just using a weight 3 acrylic yarn with a little bit of a larger hook. I believe the recommended hook is a 4 or 4.5 millimeter, and I'm actually going to be going up a step and using a 5.5 millimeter hook. But yeah, any colors of any yarn you like. We're also going to use some stitch markers, scissors, and here is my 5.5 millimeter hook. So to get started, I'm going to make a slip knot and just start off my foundation chain. So we're going to make a chain that is as wide as we want our neck to be for the sweater. So for me, I wrapped it around my neck to make sure it fit, but you also need to make sure that you're able to slide it over top of your head. So I ended up with a total of 80 chains for my foundation chain, and you can use whatever number you like. If you want a wider neck or a smaller neck, go right ahead. We are going to need to do a little bit of math. So to find the perfect raglan fit, we're going to divide our stitches into 60% for front and back and 40% for the sides. So for the front and back, I just have an example here of 76 chains, but if you had 76 chains, you would multiply it by 0.3 to figure out the amount for the front and back. And then for the arms, we're going to multiply 76 by 0.2. So because we have 20% for each of the arms and 30% for each front and back. So we're going to have to round the numbers because we obviously can't have partial stitches. So I ended up rounding to 23 and 15 in this case. Once we have that, we can pin out everything with our stitch markers and begin crocheting. So we want to mark out our shoulder points here. We have the front center in the front, and then we have the back on either side because we need to divide it in half. So if you're using 80 like me, I got 16 for each of the shoulders and 24 for both the front and back. Now we're going to bring these two pieces together, and we're just going to attach these two sides with a slip stitch. So just like that, and our sides are attached. Now we can begin crocheting this row. So at each of these stitch markers here, we're going to place our increases so that we can get the raglan shape. So the back is now joined. We're going to need to work the back in half and join in the center anyways, but we'll do that when we get there. So to get started on this first row, I'm going to chain 3. Then I'm going to yarn over, and into the next stitch, I'm going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. So once again, yarn over into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. And we're just going to continue working in this stitch all the way until we get to our stitch markers. And we're just going to work all the way until we get down to our stitch marker here. Once I'm at my stitch marker, I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, place 1 extended double crochet into this space. And this is where our increase is going to be. So then I'm going to chain 1, move my stitch marker up so that I can use it on the next row. And then I'm going to yarn over and into the next stitch, go with an extended double crochet. So the chain 1 space is where our increase is going to be. And we're just going to do this all the way around. So I'm going to keep working in this stitch until I get to the next stitch marker. And at the next stitch marker, we're going to place our chain 1 increase. So once our first round of increases is finished, this is what it should look like. We can see that the square shape is starting to form. And now we are just going to finish this row by joining these two sides together. So I'm going to find the top of that initial chain, insert my hook, and since I'm changing colors every other round, I'm going to have my next yarn ready here to complete the slip stitch. So, oops, so just pull it through and pull it through both stitches, and that finishes the first round. I'm going to turn this over, and for this row, I'm going to chain 2. This chain 2 counts as a stitch. So we're going to be working this row in half double crochets. So for this, I'm just going to yarn over, go into the next stitch here, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up, and yarn over, pull through all 3. And we're just going to work this whole row in half double crochets. Okay, so we're just going to work this down until we get to our increase point, and then we can work from there. So now we're down at the increase point here. We're going to yarn over, go into that chain 1 space with a half double crochet, and then we're going to chain 1 and place 1 more half double crochet into the same chain 1 space. And that is how we are going to increase from here on out. So after that, we're just going to half double crochet into the next stitch and all the way into every stitch until we get to our stitch markers. Then we're just going to continue increasing in the exact same way. So now we've finished this round, we can see the increases a little bit better, and as we work, we're going to be able to really see the shape. So for this row, I'm just going to clip my yarn and grab my next yarn, which is going to be my white color again. And I'm going to find the top of that initial chain 2. Insert my hook, grab my white yarn, pull it over, and finish the slip stitch in the next color. So I'm just going to alternate for this top between rows of white and either the purple or pink, and white rows are always going to be extended double crochets and the colorful rows will be half double crochets. So for this row, we're going to start with a chain 3, make sure our strings are tight, and into the next available stitch we're going to place our extended double crochet. And just keep placing these down until we get to our increase point again. Once we reach our increased chain 1 spot, we're going to go in with 1 extended double crochet, chain 1, and 1 more extended double crochet into the exact same space. And we're just going to continue this. It's a very easy pattern, just repeating and increasing anytime we get to one of our stitch markers. So we're just going to continue working this until it is as long as we want the shoulder portion of our top to be. So when it gets to be around your armpit or a bit lower, wherever you're comfortable with your sleeves starting, that's where we're going to stop. So this is what my sweater looks like at this point. I've worked 21 rows and I think this is where I am good to have it stop so that I can start my sleeves. So if you fold your sweater in half at this point, you can see kind of the clear division between the sleeves and the body. So we're just going to work now the body, and we're going to separate the sleeves from the body. So for this next row, for the separating of the body from the sleeves, I'm going to just join my next yarn, pull everything tight, turn over my work, there we go, and then we're going to work just until we get to our first corner. So I'm going to work in half double crochets till I get to my first corner, and from there we're going to join the front to the back. I'm going to start with my chain 2, half double crochet into the next stitch, and all the way down until I get to the corner. So now that I'm down at the corner, we're going to make a chain to connect the front to the back. If you don't need any extra space, you don't have to make a chain at all. I'm going to make a chain of 8. You want to make sure that it'll be able to fit over your torso. If you have a larger bust, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to fit over that as well. So I'm going to make my chain of 8, and then I'm going to come here, and we're going to work 1 stitch into the corner like we did on the opposite side, and then half double crochet all the way down. So into my chain 1 space, I'm putting 1 half double crochet, and then each stitch after that will also get 1 half double crochet. So you can see we've separated the front and back, and this chain will be what completes our sleeve. So I'm going to do the same thing for the front now, working in half double crochets all the way down until I get to my corner. So I'm at my corner here now. I'm going to place my last half double crochet, and then I'm going to work my chain of 8. And I'm going to skip the sleeve, find the opposite corner, and do the exact same thing. So we're going to yarn over, place a half double crochet into the chain 1 space, oops, half double crochet into the chain 1 space, and then half double crochet all the way down until we get to the end. And then we're going to half double crochet until we get to the back center, and we're going to join and continue. So from this point, you want to make the body portion of this as long as you want, and then we can work on the sleeves. The only real difference for this next row of extended double crochets is that when we get to our sleeve, we're going to need to work through the chains. So I'm going to go ahead and work this portion until I get down to the chains for the sleeve. Once we get down to our chains, all we're going to do is make sure that our chain is turned the right way and that we're placing 1 extended double crochet into each of those chains. So it's very straightforward, and once we've placed all of our stitches into our chains, then we're just going to work around the front and the other side and join again at the back. So this is how it looks once we've worked across our chain. From here, we're just going to extend this body portion as long as we want to make our sweater the length that we want, and then we can work on the sleeves. From here, I just made my sweater as long as I wanted it to be, and now we can see the sleeve portion is separated. So now we're just going to start working on the sleeves. So to work on the sleeves, I'm just going to take the next color in my pattern, and I'm going to make a slip knot. Then I'm going to find a spot along, I usually like to do it along the back or just the bottom up by the armpit, so you can't really see it as much. But I'm just going to join my yarn in any one of those chains or any stitch that you like. Just find a spot to attach your yarn. So I'm going to slip stitch through my slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 2 because we're working a half double crochet row, and just place half double crochets into each of the chains or stitches along this row. The chains can be tricky, so if you're struggling a little bit like I did, just make sure to make them a little bit looser. Now we're going to work 1 half double crochet into the side of this stitch here, and 1 into that chain 1 space as well. And then we're just going to place half double crochets into each stitch all the way until we get to the end. So we're going to work till we get back to here, and then just the same as we did the body of the sweater, we're going to continue attaching with a slip knot. We're going to attach each row with a slip stitch and just continue working until our sleeve is long enough. So once I get to the other side of the sleeve here, we're just going to make sure that we place all of our stitches in the same way as we did on the other half. So I'm just going to yarn over, place my half double crochets in these stitches, making sure I place 1 into that chain 1 space, placing 1 into the side of that half double crochet, and then just going down until I get to my first half double crochet where we're going to join with a slip stitch. We're going to find the top of our chain 2, insert our hook, and slip stitch these two pieces together. Gonna cut my yarn the same way I did before and join my next color. And that's all there is to it. We're just going to continue working in the same pattern until our sleeve is as long as we want it to be. Then we're going to attach our yarn on the other sleeve, do the exact same thing, and that will complete the sweater. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this sweater tutorial and that you try it out for yourself. If you do, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next tutorial.